morning, everyone. Welcome to SPM Biology webinar organized by SMK Methodist Sibu. First, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Cedric Chua Ming Hen from SMK Methodist Sibu. I'll be the moderator of the webinar today, and I would also like to extend our warmest welcome to the speaker of today, Madam Chiew, who will be sharing with us some useful tips to strive for excellence in biology SPM 2021. Now, I would like to invite Peter Tang to lead us in an opening prayer to kickstart our webinar this morning.
Let us pray together according to our own belief. Dear Lord, we put this webinar in your hand. May you lead throughout this whole webinar and let it can go on very smoothly. Bless our speaker today, Madam Chan, that she can teach every student today about the knowledge and answering technique of biology. Give every one of us, the students, understanding about what she taught, and every student can benefit from it and apply what we learn into the exam. Bless every one of us here who is attending this webinar. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you very much, Peter. Now, I would like to invite Mr. William Yong, PK1 of SMK Methodist, to say a few words.
Thank you, Cedric, our moderator for today. A very good morning to our speaker, Madam Chiew, and all students present here on our Methodist channel. On behalf of Principal of SMK Methodist, I would like to welcome all of you to our second SPM webinar of 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, for your information, our first SPM webinar has been a great success. Thanks for all your support. The motto of this program is Strive for Excellence, which aims to help students to accomplish excellent results in SPM. Therefore, our school will continue to organize a series of webinars consistently for the SPM candidate to prepare you for your SPM exam. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like also to take this opportunity to extend our sincere appreciation to Madam Chiew, who used to be our own teacher here in Methodist, for being willing to spare her precious time to be with us today to share her knowledge and tips on how to excel in SPM biology. I'm sure all of you will benefit generally to terminate for her sharing. Besides that, a very good job to the technical teams of Methodist YouTube channel for your dedication of hard work. I believe that this channel will continue to be a useful education platform in time to come. Apart from that, I would also like to express my gratitude to Ms. Chung Hee-kyu and Madam Hu Li, our biology teacher, for their commitment and hard work to make this event a success. Before I end my speech, once again, I wish to extend our warmest welcome to all of you. Thanks for supporting on webinar. Have a great day ahead. All the best for your SPM, and God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. William Yong. Now, I would like to introduce the speaker of today, Madam Chiew. Madam Chan is a very experienced biology teacher with 21 years of teaching experience. She is currently teaching at SMK Sacred Heart Sibu. She is the academic teacher, Guru Academic, for Form 6 Biology. Moreover, she is also the writer for SPM Biology model papers. She graduated with a Bachelor degree of Science in Food Science and Nutrition from the National University of Malaysia, UKM. She has also received a Diploma in Education, specializing in Biology and Chemistry from University of Science Malaysia, USM, and Masters in Learning Science from UNIMAS. This morning, it is indeed our great honor and pleasure to have invited Madam Chan to share with us some tips to excel in SPM Biology. Our webinar this morning consists of a sharing session followed by a Q&A session at the end of the webinar. While listening to the sharing, please feel free to type your questions in the live chat anytime. Please be reminded that the participants are only allowed to ask questions that are related to biology only. Without further ado, we shall now invite Madam Chan to start her sharing session.
A very good morning to everyone. Okay, I'm Madam Chan Chiew. Now I'm teaching in SMK Sacred Heart. So today I'm going to share with you guys, okay, a few tips or what we say that the answering techniques is biology SPM paper 2. Okay, so let's start now. So I think all the biology students should know. Okay, start from this year, you are the first batch. Okay, you are the first batch that will sit for the new KSSM syllabus, biology syllabus, right? Okay, so now I just want to share with you a bit what you had learned in these 2 years, start from Form 4, okay, until Form 5. Okay, so in biology Form 4 syllabus, you had learned about 15 chapters. Okay, so basically these all are the chapters that you had learned since you are in Form 4, right? Okay, next. So in Form 5, okay, there are only 13 topics. Okay, there are only 13 chapters. And I think all students should know. Okay, so from your KSSM biology syllabus, 4, you learn about all the animals. Okay, all the animals. And in Form 5, okay, first 7 chapters, you learn about plants. Okay, you see the chapter 1 until chapter 7, you are learning about plants. And then chapter 8 until chapter 10, you are learning about ecosystem and environmental sustainability. And the last 3 topics, you are learning about inheritance. So this is what you had learned, right, in these 2 years. Okay, so this morning, I'm going to share with you, okay, one of these 3 papers that you are going to sit for your SPM next year, which is paper 2. Okay, if you look at this or you look at the slide now, okay, in the paper 2, actually, there are structure questions. Okay, there are structure questions and there are essay questions. So for the essay, we had you are going to have 2 sections. Okay, which is what I stated here: subjective response to heart, or what we say restricted. Okay, restricted response, and then the section C, okay, is a subjective response to Booker, or what we say extended response. Okay, so look at the slide now. In your paper 2, okay, the first part, or what we say bahagian A, you are going to answer about 8 structure questions. Okay, 8 structure questions. Okay, now you look at these 8 structure questions. So the allocations of the mark for each 8 structure questions, you can see that number 1 and number 2. Question 1, question 2, 6 marks are allocated, and then 3 and 4, 7 marks. 5 and 6, 8 marks. 7 and 8, 9 marks. Okay, that is section A, or what we say structure questions. And then section B, you are given 2 essay questions, but you are only have to choose one to answer. So when it comes to this section later, okay, I will give you some tips to let you know how to choose the best questions that you can answer the best. Okay, and next, section C. Okay, for section C, you are only given one essay questions. So there is no choice for you to choose for this part. So you must answer the essay question in this part in order you to get the marks. Okay, you know that the maximum marks, okay, for essay is 20 marks. Okay, students, then let's start. Okay, what are the answering techniques that you should know when you sit for this biology paper 2 now? Okay, so first I'm going to discuss with you about the structure questions, section A. Okay, what are the principles of marking in this section A? Number one, okay, mark is only given to the correct answer. Okay, next, no marks is given. Okay, remember, no marks is given if you repeat the fact that is mentioned in the questions, or you use the term that is stated in the questions, then there is no marks given. Next, wrong answer given. Okay, let's say you give wrong answer. Do the marks will be deducted? No. Okay, so don't worry that you because sometimes you are not sure that whether your answer is correct or not. Okay, if you really no choice, then you just put your answer. But okay, it's a very important here. The wrong answer that you give, it might be cancel out the right answer. This is very important, students. Here, that is what we always say, that wrong cancel right. Okay, because if the concept that you give, I mean the answer that you give is the wrong concept. Okay, it's the wrong concept of the questions asked, then it will cancel out the right answer. But this is only happened in some cases. Okay, just be careful. Okay, you have to make sure that the concept that you apply in answering is very important. Okay, so next. Okay, each questions will be given, I mean the structure questions will be given answering space, right? So what you have to see, the space that is prepared, okay, the space that is prepared in the questions is normally sufficient for the answer that you write, unless your handwritten is very, very big. Okay, so next, do not need to repeat the questions statement. You don't have to copy down. Okay, remember, you don't have to copy down what the questions ask. This is very important for that, in order you to have enough space to write your actual answer. Okay, when you want to answer the questions in structured questions, okay, after you read the questions, then please make sure that you look at the mark allocations. Look at the mark allocate that in each questions. You make sure that the points that you are going to answer, the points that you are going to give, okay, must be enough for the mark allocated. Example, okay, normally we say that 1 point is given for 1 mark. Okay, 1 point is given for 1 mark. So make sure that when you want to plan to answer the question, especially the mark allocated, which is 3 marks. Okay, if 1 mark one should be no problem for everyone here. Okay, so for the questions there are allocated marks for 3 marks, so you have to be careful. You have to be careful. So make sure that you have at least 3 points. At least 3 points in order you to get full marks. Okay, so next. Okay, now answer according to the task given in the questions. Okay, answer according to the task given in the questions. So what is okay? If the questions ask you, let's say, if the questions ask you to state 2 points, or in example, okay, ask you to state 2 characteristics of animal cells that's shown in the diagram. So you just write 2 points. Okay, you just write 2 points. You don't try to write more than that. You make sure that, okay, you make sure that the point that you want to give is what you already confirm is the answer. Then if you have, sometimes if you feel that the answer that you want to write there is not so confident, so you put at the back. Okay, get what I mean? Write the the first answer. Write the first answer that which is you are very confident that is the correct answer. Huh? Okay, why I emphasize here? Okay, later I will explain to you. So if more points are given, because some students, because they are not confident, okay, they are not confident that whether the answer they write is correct or not, so they will tend to write more than that. The question is only asking for 2 characteristics or 2 rows. They will try to write more than that. Okay, if you write more than that, like what I said just now, you have to make sure that the answer that you put in the first and in the second, which is stated or which is requested by the question, is the answer that you are very confirmed. Then you put for the first 2. Understand? And because if you put the point, or if you put the answer that you are not sure, then you put number 1. Okay, you put the answer in number 1. Okay, you state the answer in number 1, and then followed by number 2. Okay, what will be marked is according to the sequence that you the answer sequence that you wrote. So normally the marker is only will mark the first 2, because the question is say that stat 2 points. So they are only look at the first 2. Okay, they are only look at the first 2. Understand? That is what stated here. Sometimes the extra point is not marked. Okay, example like what I said just now. If the questions ask you to answer stat 2 characteristics of plant cell, okay, the 2 characteristics of plant cells, then you put the answer which is not confirmed, you put on the first. Okay, first, let's say you write all the plant cells are big in size. All the plant cells are big in size. That is your first answer. Then the second answer, all the plant cells have fit shapes. And the third answer, then you write the plant cell have cell wall. So you see, you give 3 answers here, but the first answer that you wrote just now is wrong, and the third answer that you wrote just now is correct. But the marker is only look at the first and 2. So even though the third point that you wrote is correct, but it is not marked. That's why you have to be careful that hold on. That is what I stated here. The extra point is not marked. Okay, I emphasize again, when you want to answer the questions, which make sure that the answer that you confirm first, you write first. Okay, the answer that is not so confident, okay, that you're not confident, that you try to put at the back. But make sure that the answer that you are given is not opposite concept. Okay, it's not the opposite concept as the questions asked. That is what I said just now. It will have sometimes what we say wrong cancel right will be applied. Okay, so these are the tips that you must know, students. Okay, next. So answer according to the task given in the questions. Okay, answer according to the task given in the question. So later I will explain the task. Okay, the question task that normally come out in paper 2. Okay, you use this instruction guide to answer your questions. Okay, now look at the question tasks that normally come out. Okay, that you can see in your structured questions. Number 1, okay, name the structure X. Name the cell in diagram. Name P. Name Q. Okay, you know that this is very simple questions. Just name it. Okay, next, number 2, state or define. Okay, this is the question form the question task that you might see in your structured questions. Then number 3, label for diagram. So it asks you to do the labeling. Or sometimes the question will ask you to draw. Okay, so be careful when the questions ask you to draw. Okay, if you are asked to draw a structures, then make sure that you have to do labeling. Because in biology, a diagram without labeling is meaningless. Okay, so please take note. Next, okay, describe. Normally, when the question form like this, describe, it will be more than 2 marks allocated. Explain also. Next, compare. Okay, if the questions ask compare, so make sure that you have similarity and difference in your point, especially in essay. When the question is asking compare, so later I will show you some example for the questions. Next, discuss. Okay, discuss your point. Okay, maybe and you have to elaborate it why you say so. Okay, or sometimes give your reason. The question will ask, give your reason, or maybe you will ask why. Okay, these are the questions tasks. Last one, okay, construct. Okay, maybe the question asks you to construct like construct a food change, construct a food weight, or construct an energy flow, or construct a table. Okay, so these are the example of question tasks that normally come out in your paper 2 structure as questions. So I will go through each question task and by given some example for you to know better about it, and some tips that what you must keep in your mind when you answer this type of question task. Okay. Okay, number 1, we look at name. If the question is name, okay, you give the correct name. You have to write it. You have to spell it correctly. Okay, you have to spell it correctly. So if the spelling is wrong, then no mark. Okay, if the question is asking scientific name, so students here, you make sure that you must practice it. Okay, if the question is asking scientific name, you make sure that you do underline. Okay, like what the example that I'm showing to you now. So Paramecium species. So you have to underline Paramecium. And the P must be in capital letter. So you should know, right? Scientific names. How do you write the scientific name, the genus and species? So the genus must start with a capital letter. Okay. And then another example, Purococcus. Underline Purococcus. The species, the SP here, don't underline. Okay, you only underline the genus name, unless, okay, you give the full names like Homo, okay, Homo sapien. Okay, this is the scientific name for human. Then if you write the full genus and species name come out, then you have to underline the both. Okay, but make sure that there is 2 lines. Okay, 2 lines. You cannot do underline like this. Okay, cannot do like this. This is wrong. Okay, please make sure that you do in a correct way. So this is the first question task name. Actually, this is very simple. You just make sure that your spelling is correct. Okay, so next. So now this is one example questions that in 2019, questions number 1, the structure questions number 1. You look at the question now. The question is telling you diagram 1.1, show the structures of plasma membrane. So one of the question is asking this, name P and Q. Name P and Q. So you look at the diagram and see what is this P, and then you look at the question. Look at Q. What is Q? Okay, so this is the 2 structures that found in the plasma membrane. I think all the students should know the answer, right? What is the answer? The answer is P is carrier protein. Q is called cholesterol. So this is the correct answer with correct spelling. Okay, so next. Okay, now we go to the second types of question tasks. Give definitions or define. Okay, when the question is asking you to give definitions or define certain term or define certain process, you have to write it precisely, and then with correct spelling, okay, for the certain terms, okay. Like example, maybe meiosis, okay. Make sure that you know how to spell correctly, okay. Next, correct keywords, okay. The keywords that you use to explain the terms or the process must be the correct one. And then next, the answer will not be accepted if the spelling is wrong. So students, spelling is very important. So make sure that all the terms that you had learned within these 2 years, make sure that the spelling, okay, is always correct. Okay, then, okay, sometimes you will see like biology, there are there are different. You come. Sometimes you will face, why the spelling is different from what have been taught by my teachers. Okay, maybe you get the information from the internet, right? Now we can get so many resource, okay, from the internet. So, what bear in your mind? Okay, no matter the source is come from where, the most accurate source that you must refer is your textbook. Okay, all the correct terms must follow what the textbook write. Okay, what the textbooks define inside. Okay, so textbook is our own reference. It's the only one reference book that you must refer. Okay, textbook. And beside the textbook, okay, DSKP. Okay, DSKP also you can have a look. Okay, you can ask from your teachers about DSKP, then you can see. Okay, actually you also can get the DSKP, the digital document, the digital file from the internet as well. Okay, you can search for DSKP Biology KSSN. Okay, you can see what the terms that are stated in the DSKP and textbook. So always bear in your mind. Okay, the marking schemes, okay, is always based on the textbook. Remember it. Okay, next. Okay, now I'm going to give you example about define just now. You look at this diagram. Define the process that occur in the chloroplast as shown in the diagram below. So it asks you to define a process that occur in the chloroplast. So actually, the example that I want to share with you here is I want you to define what is photolysis. Okay, what is photolysis? Photolysis of water occur during the light independent reactions. Okay, class, for your information, in KSSM syllabus, photosynthesis, light independent reactions and light dependent reactions. Okay, there is extra. What I can say is there is extra info in your syllabus compared to the old syllabus. Example, in the old syllabus, we never emphasize on this NADH. We never emphasize on the productions of NADH during the light dependent reactions. But now in your syllabus, you must know about it. Okay, so this is something that I think is extra for you to know if compared to the old syllabus. So when you study the photosynthesis, make sure that you know about this NADH. Okay, now come back to these questions. Well, how do you define photosynthesis process? Actually, like in here, from the diagram, there are some clue for you already. About what is photolysis. If you know, okay, because you learn already, photolysis of water actually is the breakdown. Okay, it's the breakdown of water into like is stated here hydrogen, oxygen, but here is only a guide for you. The question is asking you to define. So how do you define? Okay, look at the answer that I share now. So first, you have to say that photolysis is a process whereby water molecule, this is what I say, the key words. Okay, you must use the correct key words. whereby water molecules are broken down to form hydrogen ions. Another key words that you must state in your definitions, and hydroxide ions. And hydroxide ion, another key words. In the presence of light energy. Okay, in the presence of light energy and chlorophyll. So you see, these are the keywords that you must state when you do definitions, and it must be precise. That is what I mean when you answer the questions for definitions. Okay, class? Okay, next. So the next question task that I'm going to share with you is stat. Okay, why I put state and describe in the on the same slide? Okay, I have my own objective. I have an objective here. Okay, there are some reasons. There are some reasons so why I put these two question tasks on one slide, because I want you to see the difference. I want you to see the difference. Okay, one is if the question is asking state, so how do you answer the questions? Okay, you only give the fact. Okay, give what you want. State the characteristics, state the properties. Okay, so you only give the fact. Do not need explanation. You do not have to give explanation or more elaborations in your answer, because it will not be given mark. So you just like what I say, wasting your time. So make sure that you know, you understand well what the question task want. Okay, and then if the question is asking, the question task is describe or explain. Okay, how are you going to answer? Okay, it should be number one. You should give the fact. You should give the fact, and you have to add on with explanation, reason. Or in another way to say is why you say so. Why you say so? You have to give reason. So that is the difference, class. Okay, state. Okay, about state and describe. Remember. Okay, remember the difference. When the question starts is state, you only give the fact. You don't have to give explanations. Okay. Then if the question is asking describe or explain, then you must give explanation. Normally, the explanations will be, the mark which is allocated for explanation will be more. Understand? So now I'm going to share example. Okay, example of questions. Okay, number one. Look at this. This is a diagram. I think everybody should know. This is about enzymatic reactions. Okay, it's the enzymatic action mechanisms, enzyme actions mechanism. And the question is asking, state the hypothesis. State the hypothesis that describe the mechanism of enzyme action as diagrammed above. So state. The question is only asking state. So your answer is very short. What is the answer? Yeah. The answer is, you just write, it is lock and key hypothesis. You don't have to explain what is lock and key hypothesis. You don't have to say, you don't have to answer. Lock refer to the enzyme, key refer to the substrate. No need. Okay, that is what we say. The question task state. Just give the fact what it wants, what the questions want. That's all. Okay, next. Okay, another example. So this is a structural questions that come out in 2018. Okay, in 2018. So you look at the question now. Diagram 1.2 shows two examples of tissue implant. Two examples. So one is stated here, meristematic tissue. Another one, coloncyma tissue. Now you look at the questions. The question is asking, state a characteristics. State a characteristics. So this is the question task. But you look at the question here. Best. Another things. Another tips that I want you to pay attention here. The question is say that best on diagram. This is very important, class. When the questions had started based on diagram. So you make sure that the answer that you are going to write is based on diagram given. You have to observe what you can see in the diagram and try to get the answer from the diagram. Normally, based on diagram, there will be some clue. There will be some tips for you to answer your questions. Okay, so example, I only put here, state the is only okay, characteristics. So again, here you have to apply what I taught to, what I had shared with you just now. Okay, you have to put the first answer that which is very you sure that, okay, you sure that it is the correct answer. You put the first. I know some of the students, even though the question is asking characteristics, they will write more than that. Okay, because there is quite a large space for you to write. Okay, even though it's only one line, but you still can write more than one characteristics. Okay, I cannot say that don't do it. No, I don't say that. I just want to share with you. If you want to write more than that, go ahead. But remember, but the answer should be, the first answer should be the one that you very confirm. And then the following answer that you try to put inside, you try to write down, make sure that you don't write the negative one, or what I say, the wrong concept letter. Then it will be apply wrong cancel right. So you have to be careful. Okay. So here, what are the example of answer that you can write? Okay, I share with you now. Okay, from the diagram. Okay, because you see, you have to compare actually, because this question actually is asking characteristics of meristematic tissue and colon-chyma tissue. I just I just share with you that is asking meristematic tissue, but actually it's asking both. So like the answer that I share with you, this is the answer that you can write and where you can see from the diagram, and also based on your biology knowledge, because you had learned that meristematic cells is the cells that actively divide mitotically in plants. So if they are actively divide mitotically, means that they are always doing the mitosis process. They are always doing divisions. They are always divide and divide and divide. So basically, okay, the characteristics of meristematic cells that you should know in your mind is they are small in size and they have big nucleus, and then they have this dense cytoplasm. You see here, I can dense cytoplasm. Okay, I did not put my answer here, but that is the concept that you had learned. Okay, dense cytoplasm. You can put inside also. It is also one of the characteristics. And then closely packed. So again, class, you can see here. Okay, large nucleus closely packed to each other is what you can observe from the diagram compared to the colon-chyma tissue. You see the nucleus. The nucleus inside here is much bigger than the nucleus here, right? So you can say that the nucleus is very big. Understand? Okay. So class, make sure that you know how to answer. Okay. Try to use whatever info that are given in the questions to write your answer. Okay. To find your answer, then you can write your correct answer. Yeah. Okay. Next. Okay, another questions which is come out in 2017. Okay, class. Why I share this question with you. You look at this diagram. Okay, the diagram is showing a part of human respiratory system, and the question is asking. Okay, you know this is our lung system, right? State two characteristics of P. So you have to look at the diagram. Where is P? Oh, this structure is P. So first in your mind, what is P? First in your mind, you look at the diagram. The question is asking P. So what is P? So, oh, I know. P is trachea. P is trachea. So you write down first. Oh, P is trachea. So now question is asking the characteristics of trachea which are related to its function. So guys, please do practice. Underline, or like what I do now, circle, okay, the key words that are given in the questions when you answer the questions. So try to practice this. You try to practice this, class. Okay, so now you see that this question is asking you to state the characteristic and which is related to each function. You know what is the functions of trachea, that the functions of trachea is allow the gas to go through. So how does this trachea present themselves, right, or perform themselves so that the air can flow in continuously. So this is what you think when you answer these questions. So what are the characteristics that you can put here? Okay, number one, you can say that it has C-ring cartilage. It has C-ring cartilage. Okay, and then do you have to explain why it must have C-ring cartilage here? Do you need to explain? No, because the question is only asking state. It's not explain. If the question now I change to explain, okay, if the question now I change to explain, then you have to explain. It has C-ring cartilage in order to prevent the trachea from collapsing. So that is your explanation. Understand? Okay, so and then the question here is asking two characteristics. So again, you see, 1, 2. Two line is given provided to you. So you write. Again, you write the answer that you are very confident first. You write the first one, it has C-ring cartilage. Then the second one, it is lined with ciliated cells. Then if you want to write number 3, okay, I just give you an example. Maybe you have suddenly you come out an answer like this. It has example. It has maybe I can explain, like it has a big channel. Okay, a big channel. Just example. Then if you see this one, it has a big channels. Let's say you put into the first. You write this answer into the first. I don't think that you will get mark. Okay, this is not the exact answer. Okay, this is not the correct answer. Okay, because you have to relate it to its function. To relate it to its functions. Okay, so again, please apply what I had discussed before. Write the first and the second answer, which is requested by the questions, which the answer is you are very confirmed. If you try to write number 3, number 4, and continue, if you have enough time, you can go ahead. If you have enough time, you can go ahead. But it is not confirmed that the answer number 3, number 4 will be marked or not, because it is not in your provided space. Sometimes marker will not look at it. Understand? So make sure that you practice this. Okay, next. Okay, this is what I say. If I change the questions to explain, now you see, when it comes to explain, the mark which is allocated normally is 3 and above. Okay, 3 and above, okay, or basically the minimum, it must be 2 marks. If question asks you to explain, okay, 2 marks. 1, you state the characteristic. 2, okay, point number 2, you explain what is the characteristic about which relate to the function. Okay, so look at the example of answer here. Okay, so you look at this. You see, my answer here, number 1, characteristic. It has C-ring cartilage. It has C-ring cartilage. So you have to explain what is the importance of these characteristics to its function. To its function. So you have to explain. So the explanation is like this. Okay, it has C-ring cartilage that enable the trachea to open permanently, or it can prevent the trachea from collapsing. Okay, why? Why this have to make sure that the trachea is always in the opening conditions, or why? Because to allow the flow of air. So this is the following explanation. Okay, guys, see because you look at the mark here, it is given 3 marks. As I mentioned just now, normally the characteristic you would say is only given 1 mark. Explanation or elaborations to explain the characteristics. If there are 3 marks, so 2 marks is given for the explanation. Understand? I hope you guys can understand what I had discussed here, right? Okay, continue. Okay, another example of questions. You look at these questions again. The question is asking, describe the structures of plasma membrane based on the fluid mosaic model. So ask you to describe the structures. The structures, plasma membrane based on fluid mosaic model. So these are the keywords. Okay, you underline or you circle it. So once you answer, you have to refer to the keywords. Okay, the answer given. Okay, this is the answer given. Listen. Okay, sorry. What happened? Oh, okay. Still. Hold on. I have misclicked something. I think should be okay. So I continue. You look at the answer given. The structure of the plasma membrane based on the fluid mosaic model states that it consists of two layers of phospholipid molecules and other components such as protein, carbohydrates, and cholesterol molecules that are embedded in the phospholipid bilayer. What's wrong with the answer that you're given here, guys or students here? Do you find out that what are the I cannot say it's a mistake. It's not a mistake, but you don't have to answer like this. So you see why I underline or make it in the red font for this. The structure of the plasma membrane based on the fluid mosaic. I know there are some. I mean, some students like is their habit. Okay, it's their habit. They try to answer the questions and write the questions given again. This is what I meant. I highlight here. The structure of the plasma membrane based on the fluid mosaic model is the questions. Like what I said before, you don't have to. Oh my dear, I cannot. Hold on. My phone. And so wait. Wait for a while. What's wrong here? Okay, sorry. So you don't have to rewrite the questions. You don't have to rewrite the questions. So how are you going to answer these questions? You start from here. Okay, start from here. Straightforward to your answer. Okay, straightforward to your answer. It consists of two layers of phospholipid molecules and other components such as protein, carbohydrate, and cholesterol molecule. They are embedded in the phospholipid bilayer. So the key words, the key points that you must mention, okay, when you want to describe the plasma membrane structures, you may say this is the keywords that you must have in your answer. Two layers of phospholipid molecules and then other components such as protein, carbohydrates, and cholesterol molecules, okay, which are embedded. Okay, where can you find this molecule? Embedded in the phospholipid bilayer. So this is how you describe the structure of plasma membrane. Again, class, don't repeat the questions unless the space provided is not enough for you to write your answer. Okay, next. Okay, comes with now another two types of question tasks. Again, I put it on one slide. Okay, there is a difference that I want you to take note. Okay, so if the question is asking compare and contrast, class or students here, make sure that you must write. You must write first similarity. Normally, students will tend to forget. Okay, when they look at the questions is asking compare, they only think about the differences. Okay, they very seldom answer the similarity. But the allocated marks given is there must have marks given. I mean, it must have marks allocate for the similarity point. Let's say if the answer is 3 marks, okay, answer is 3 marks. One mark is must at least 1 mark is given for similarity, and then differences. Okay, differences is given for 2 marks. Okay, 2 marks is given for differences. So class, if you write, then if you look at the answer, the mark given is allocate. The marks given here is 3 marks. Then you write 3 differences. You write 3 differences. You thought that you are going to get full marks. No, even though all the 3 differences that you answer are the correct point, but the maximum marks that you can get is only 2 marks, because 1 mark is allocated for similarity. Students, understand this? So make sure that you always remind yourself when the question task is compare. Make sure that you write similarity point. You have similarity point and you have differences point. Okay, next. And when you do compare, later I will also emphasize on this part, compare and contrast. Okay, there are some students that still not used to, maybe not practice much when answer the questions compare and contrast because of wrong format. Because of wrong format, you cannot get mark. Maybe you only if in essay, okay, if in essay there are 10 marks given. If essay format, there are 10 marks given because of your wrong format, your answer in wrong format. Instead of 10 marks, actually your answer, you have a lot of points inside. But instead of 10 marks that you can score, you only get 2 marks. Later I will show you why. Okay, that's why you have to be very careful when answer the questions. You have to be very clear about the question task, what it wants, how you answer. It is important. Understand? Okay, so like here, compare or contrast for the same aspect. You must compare for the same aspect. Compare A and B. So what you want to compare A and B? The size. So you have to say A have big size, B have small size. So because you are comparing the same aspect, what is the aspect? The size. Okay, then they should be put together at the same row. Understand? Okay. So next, now we look at this the other types of question tasks, which is state the difference, or what are the difference. So how do you answer if the question is asking state the difference or what are the difference? Because the question is asking difference already. So this time, do you have to give the similarity point? No need. Okay, no need. So for this type of question task, you only I forgot this compare and contrast. Okay, if you do compare and contrast, if you want to write the difference, okay, same as this part, you can use words such as whereas, while, but to do the comparison for the different point. Okay, so example like what I say, give you example like just now. Cell A have a big size, but cell B have a small size. So this is how you compare. You use these words to make it become one sentence. Okay, so if the question is asking state the difference, you just give difference. You don't have to give similarity. That's all. Okay, class. Okay, I continue. Now I give you an example. Look at the questions now. If the question is asking compare between R3 and Van, so please do practice. Do write similarity. Okay, what are the similarity that you want to write? Okay, you write a similarity words there. Okay, so example, the similarity that you write here, point number 1, you say both are blood vessel. Okay, when you want to write similarity answer, you use both. Okay, both. Instead of you write cell A and cell P. Example like what I give you just now, cell A and cell P are blood vessel. Just example. No, you can use these words, both. Okay, and then second point, P2, okay, second point, both transport blood. How many similarities point that normally you should answer? From my experience, okay, when you want to write similarity points, normally I will advise my students at least one or two. If the because depends on the questions asked, depends on the structure they ask in the questions, okay, because some structures there maybe similarity is just one point, so you cannot give more than one example, okay. So if the similarity points you can give more than one, I request you to answer at least two lah. And again, you have to look at the marks given, the allocations of mark. Okay, if the marks is 4, then the similarity at least two. Understand? Okay, class. How? Then what are the differences? You can write. Okay, I think from your experience, you know that when you want to write the differences, there must be a lot, right? A lot of points that you can answer. Okay, example here. I only give you two. I think I only share with you two points about the differences. But actually, there are more than that, right? So what are the differences that of R3 and Van here? R3 have small lumen, but whereas Van have large lumen. And then another example, R3 does not contain buff, but whereas Van contain buff. This is how you answer. Okay. So next. I think I have to be fast, if not I cannot finish. Okay, now here, this is an advice for you. Really, please pay attention when you want to answer the compare and contrast questions, especially for essay. Sometimes feel very pity for those students. They wrote a lot of points, and the points are very good, but because of the wrong format, they cannot score many marks. Okay, so that is very very what I say, rugi lah. Okay, 一个损失哦。Okay, so now you have to make sure you know how to answer well. So R3 have big lumen and thicker muscular wall. Van have small lumen and thinner muscular wall. So if you look at these two experiments here, two answers here, it is not comparing. It is just a statement. A statement say R3 have big lumen and thicker muscular wall. Van have small lumen and thinner muscular wall. It is not comparing. So this is not answer. If the question asks you to write compare and contrast, your answer will be like this. You will get 0 mark because you are not doing comparison. Understand, class? Okay, so please understand well how to answer the questions task compare and contrast. So next. Okay, I think another. So here I did prepare I think 2 or 3 slides. Okay, I refer back all the syllabus from 4 until form 5. What are the structures, or what are the process, or what are the system that normally will be asked you to compare and contrast? So now I'm going to share with you. You can take notes. Like number 1, compare and contrast between the animal cells and plant cell. I think basically you know what are the similarity between the animal cell and plant cell. Both cells have nucleus, cytoplasm, they have organelles such as mitochondria and so on. Right? That is similarity. Then if you talk about the differences, there are at least 6 points that you must state. What are the 6 points? The shapes, whether it fits or not, the presence of cell wall, the presence of chloroplast, the presence of central, the storage food, right? So these are the points for you to compare the differences between the animal cell and plant cell. Okay, next. Active transport and passive transport. So what is the similarity between active transport and passive transport? Both are transport process. They transport the substances, okay, move across the cell. Example. This is the similarity. And then what is the differences? What are the differences? Active transport require energy, but passive transport do not require energy. So guys, this is the term. I mean, I I do a summary for you guys. What are the concept, or what are the structure, what are the concept, what are the process that you must know to do the comparison. Okay, so let's go through the rest of it. Next, DNA and RNA. What is the differences? Okay, what is the differences? Do you know what are maybe I have to ask, what is the similarity first? Okay, both are nucleic acid. That is the similarity. And then what are the differences? Okay, you say that DNA consists of two double strands of polynucleotide change, whereas RNA only consists of one polynucleotide change. And then point number 2, DNA. DNA only have one types, but RNA have 3 types, such as rRNA, tRNA, and mRNA, and so on. So you see the difference, huh? Okay, guys, when you do the revisions, this is my advice here. Okay, this is my advice here. You can write, okay, the points that I'm sharing now. Then you try to form or construct a table to do the comparisons for your revision. Okay, continue. Mitosis and meiosis. Okay, this is a very I can say that one of the popular questions also. Mitosis process. What are the similarity between mitosis and meiosis? What are the differences between mitosis and meiosis, guys? Okay, next, aerobic respirations and anaerobic respirations. Okay, and then next, aerobic respirations versus compared to fermentations. What are the difference? Okay, next, the respiratory structures between human and animals. Okay, normally we will questions come out. Normally you will try to compare human and other animals. So what are the animals that in our syllabus? There are insect, frog, and fish. So you guys must know. Okay, compare the respiratory structures. Okay, but there is one year come out, compare the respiratory mechanism. I will share with you just later. Okay, why I share this that question with you, because lots of students have a wrong mistake, have a mistake when answer that questions. Okay, later I will share. Next, the breathing mechanism in human and animals. Again, this is what I say. Okay, breathing mechanism. This is respiratory structures. This is breathing mechanism in human and animals. So you must know the similarity and differences. Next, okay, compare between the circulatory system in human and insect, or circulatory system in fish, human and fish, or human and frog. Okay, normally we try to compare with human. Okay, next, all this is in your Form 4 syllabus, class. Okay, next, artery, vein, and blood capillary. This is what you must know, the similarity and differences. Okay, next, lymph, tissue, fluid, and blood. What are the similarity between these 3 types of fluid? What are the differences? Okay, next, passive immunity and active immunity. Okay, so the most the popular questions normally is regarding the artificially acquired passive immunity versus artificially acquired active immunity, because both are injection. So only the what is injected is different, right? Okay, remember this. Next, then compare between the voluntary and involuntary actions. Okay, what are the differences? What are the similarities? And next, compare between the nervous and endocrine system. Okay, because you know these 2 system is our body coordination system. So you have to in our syllabus, okay, you have to know that what are the similarities between these 2 systems and the differences. Next, the types of vertebra. Okay, so we have actually 5 groups of vertebra bones, right? But normally these are the 3. Okay, these are the 3 types of vertebra where we asked to compare. Cervical, thoracic, lumbar. Next, okay, spermatogenesis and oogenesis, regarding the formations of gametes. So what are the similarities and the differences? Next, Identical twins and fraternal twins. Okay, what are the similarity, and then what are the differences? Okay, so class, you see here, this is what I would like to share with you guys. When you do revisions, make sure that all what I share here, you can do the comparison. You try to write out your answer. Okay, because I don't have much time to go through one by one with you here. You can do by your own. All are stated in your textbook. Next. Okay, now is about the plants tissue. So this is your Form 5 already, the Form 5 one. So first of all, you must know the similarities and differences between parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma tissue, as well as the meristematic tissue, right? Okay, primary growth and secondary growth. So what are the similarities? What are the differences? And then next, this is about, it is related with the photosynthesis. Okay, photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. Make sure that you guys try to pay more attention, because as what I mentioned, there is a big difference from the old syllabus. Okay, regarding the NADH. Okay, especially the NADH. So you guys make sure that try to understand well about this part. Okay, light dependent reactions and light independent reactions. So what are the similarities and differences? Next. Okay, and then photosynthesis process and respirations that occur in plants. Some students have a wrong concept or misconcept about this process, because some students they might think that but plants carry out photosynthesis, then plants do not carry out respiration. This is wrong concept for some students. Okay, this is what I had. From my experience. So make sure that you know the similarity between these two processes. Okay, and the differences. Next, gutations and transpiration. Okay, gutations and transpiration. So it's also occur in plants. Then you know what are the similarities and what are the differences. And next, male and female flowers. Okay, male and female flower, because this one I refer to your textbook. Okay, Form 5, male and female flower structures. Make sure that you know. Okay, it look very simple, but it is stated in your textbook. So and when you do revisions, okay, try to have a look about it. Next, continuous and discontinuous variation. Okay, continuous and discontinuous variation. So you know, okay, what are the differences? There are many points that you can compare, and what are the similarity? Okay, actually both are variations, right? Okay, next, mutations in somatic cells and gamete. Okay, somatic cells and gamete. This is a point here. Okay, this is also stated in your textbook. Okay, mutation in somatic cells and gamete. What can you compare? Make sure that you know the difference, right? Next. Okay, so that's all. I think the 3 slides. How many slides? 3 slides that I share with you about the concept or the terms or the process that you can compare in your biology syllabus. So next parts we are going to see another types of question tasks. So the question task that I'm going to share with you now is, one is calculate and one is how many. If the question is asking you to calculate, okay, so what you should do? If the question is asking you to calculate, if the space is allocated, okay, if there is a blank space allocated in the questions given, then make sure that you do the steps in calculations. It must be shown. The steps in calculations might have mark given. So if you do not show the calculation, you only press your calculator to get the answer, then you don't write the steps, then maybe you only get 1 mark for your answer if your answer is correct. Understand, class? Okay, so marks is given to both steps and answer. That's why that is what I say just now. You have to show your steps. Okay, steps of calculations. Like you see, if your step is correct, but the answer that you are given, okay, so maybe you got your answer. Got mark for your state. Mark for your state, even the answer wrong is given. And then next, okay, if wrong state, correct answer, You see, wrong state, correct answer, 0 mark. So it shows here that here show that the calculation step is very important. It's very important. Please take note. Okay, so next, when write the answer after the calculations, make sure that you use the SI unit for your calculation if there is SI unit. Unless the question is asking count the average number of bubble gas, right? Count the average number of bubble gas release. So you know the number of bubble gas, there is no unit, okay? No SI unit, so that one no need. But other than that, if there is SI unit, make sure that you do write your unit properly. Okay, next. Okay, sometimes you see answer without unit, it might be wrong. Okay, it might be no accepted because without units, maybe it have different meanings. So it may be wrong. Understand? So make sure that you also emphasize on the units for your answer when do the calculation. Next, we go to how many. Okay, if the question is asking how many, you just give the answer. You don't need to show the calculation. No need to show the calculations. Understand? Okay, now draw diagram and labeling. If the question is asking draw diagram and labeling, okay, so make sure that you draw your diagram. Okay, when you draw your diagram, number one, your diagram must be big enough. Okay, you look at the space provided in the questions, make sure that you draw. Okay, example, I think this is very logic. When the space is given big like this, then your diagram is only small like this. You see, it's not good, right? It's not tidy also. Okay, if the space given is big like this, at least okay, your diagram should be like this. Should be big enough. Try to fill the space provided, but not so much, I mean, not too big. Yeah, because when too big, then you do not have space to write to do your labeling. Understand? Okay. Number two, make sure that your diagram is clear. Okay, when you do drawing, please use pencil. Please use pencil because when you draw wrongly, then you can erase it easily. Okay, then the line must be clean. Remember, the line must be clean, unbroken, and no shading. No shading. Okay, smooth line. Next, after you draw, then you must do label. Must do label. Okay, and with clearly written, and the line must not cross. Okay, I will show you a example just later. Okay, next, number 4. Yeah, this one. Don't use arrow. Okay, some students they have a habit. They try to use arrow to do labeling. They try to use arrow, but please, no, cannot do arrow unless you want to show direction. You want to show direction, okay, class? So now look at the example given. Example in year 2018. Diagram 1.1 show the structures of a plant cell. Draw and label the basic units. You see, now the question is asking you to draw and label. You see, asking draw and label the basic units of the main component, which is named in 1B1, actually, which is named in this one, R. Okay, I forgot to put the question before. So actually it's asking you, what is the basic unit structures that found in the nucleus? Bear in your mind, you know, the main components that found in the nucleus is nucleic acid. Nucleic acid. So what is the basic units of nucleic acid? You have to think about it. This question is not asking you draw and label plant cell, directly give you the question. No. Okay, you have to look for the answer from the question given here. Ask for basic unit structure. What is the basic unit structure? The nucleic acid. The nucleic acid. So how do you draw the basic unit structure of nucleic acid, which is nucleotide? So this is the answer, you see. Okay, the answer is asking you to draw a nucleotide. So this is a nucleotide structures. Then you draw, then you label. Okay, you label. Okay, what I mean just now, when you do labeling, don't try to cross here and there. Okay, don't try to cross here and there like this. This is not nice. Okay, this is not nice. I think the best one, okay, the best one you do labeling, okay, if possible, okay, straight line here, then straight line here, and then straight line here. So it look tidy. Understand? Okay, so next. Okay, there are some questions that are asking you to do a tick or match. This one actually is very simple. If question asks you to tick to do a tick, okay, so make sure that you do a tick. You follow the instruction. You follow the instruction. Do a tick in the space given. And then do not use a cross because the instruction of the question is asking tick. Don't try to cross. Okay. If another question is asking you to match, okay, matching, so you draw line. You draw a line, okay. So example here, I share with you. There are example of question come out in past year. Okay, example in year 2019. So given you the diagram of vertebra and ask you to choose which vertebra has the largest centrum. You know the largest centrum is lumbar. So you have to figure out which vertebra here is lumbar. So this is the answer. This is the answer. Class, for this type of questions, you don't try to you don't try to tick all. If you try to tick all, then there is no mark. So because this one is only ask you, the correct answer. Which one is the largest centrum? So it's only one answer. So next, another questions which is ask you to do pairing or matching. This is questions in year 2017. The diagram show two types of food and the preservation method. So match the food to the suitable method of preservation. So you use your ruler. Try to draw a line properly. Okay, straight line. Okay, so you know strawberry preservative. Okay, you see, like I do not have a ruler here, so you see a big, not so tidy here. So if you use the ruler, then it will look tidy. Okay, straight line. Understand? Okay, so these are a few example of question task, which is very simple. This is very simple questions. Okay, next. Okay, now comes to the another types of questions that normally students face problem to answer. In structured questions, this is from my experience. When question is asking in the negative form, some students they have the idea of the answer. I mean, they have the correct answer, but the way they wrote, okay, the way that they answer the questions make them cannot score the question, cannot score it. So make sure that you know. Okay, I hope everyone can hear. Carefully what I'm going to share with you now, because a lot of students they cannot get mark. Okay, they cannot score mark when these types of question come out. What I say here, negative question. Okay, excuse me. So if you look at the questions, if you look at the questions, that the question is asking when a structure is not formed, when a structure is absent, and when a structure or a structure, so normally it's a structures is damaged, or when a process is failed to carry out. Okay, so these are the verbs. Okay, which is can be asked in the negative questions. Okay, I share with you a few example. Okay, this is one of the questions that lots of students they have they know the answer. They know the answer, but the way that they wrote, okay, they cannot get 2 marks. You look at the questions now. Diagram 1.3 shows the transport of glucose from proximal convoluted tubules into the blood capillary in the kidney. Okay, you know the diagram is showing you. This is the blood capillary, okay, and then this is the proximal convoluted tubular cells, okay, the epithelial cells or PCT. And inside, okay, there are mitochondria. You see, mitochondria is showing to you, and then transport of glucose occur. Okay, from the lumen of PCT, okay, transport to the epithelial cell and go into the blood capillary, which happen in the nephron, right, in your kidney. So the question is asking like this: explain what will happen to the transport of glucose, if the structure S is absent. If structure S is absent, so means that if there is no mitochondria, what will happen to the transport of glucose? This is what the questions ask. Okay, I give you an example. The question, the answer that given by students. Okay, hold on. See, this is the example of sample answer given by students. So the students write like this: S is mitochondrion. Mitochondrion generates energy through cellular respirations. Active transport can occur. Yeah, all the statement here, right, is correct. Is a correct statement. But do it answer the questions? No. It do not answer the questions. I mean, the points given here do not answer the questions. Okay, if you look at the question back. Even though structure S is not mentioned here is mitochondria, okay, you state you say X is mitochondria, but this is not the main point for the questions, because the question is asking what will happen to the transport of glucose if the structure S is absent. No point if you want to write S is at mitochondria. It's not point here. I mean, it is not the answer. You have to write once the structure S is absent, what happened to the transport of glucose? You have to answer like that. Okay, so this type of answer, no mark. Even though the statement is correct, no mark at all. Okay, what is the correct answer? I share with you. I share now. Number one, you should say, you see, if the structure S is absent, no mitochondria, what will happen? So you have to say that energy will not be generated. Okay, energy will not be generated by the cell. Okay, energy will not be generated. If there is no energy, active transport will not occur. If there is no active transport, then the reabsorptions or the transport of glucose cannot be occur. This is what happened when the structure X is absent. You have to answer like this. You see, guys, students. So please make sure that you know how to answer the negative questions. I mean, from my experience, many students they face problem to answer this type of questions. So you try to realize it now. Okay, start from now how to write the negative questions answer. Okay, so and then maybe you can explain more. Okay, explain more. Well, because there is no reabsorption of glucose, so the glucose remain in the PCT cell. Therefore, the transportation of glucose does not occur, or the glucose is not absorbed into the blood capillary. That is the effects of the process. Because the glucose cannot be transported, so glucose is remain. Okay, it remain in the PCT cell, or is not absorbed into the blood capillary. Okay, so I hope you can understand. Now continue. Next example. This is another example in year 2018. Okay, year 2018. So number 3, question, structure question number 3. Show a human digestive system. And the question is asking you, explain why the process of digestion of bread does not occur. Why the digestion of bread does not occur in Chiew? Again, Chiew is stomach. Do you think that when you write the answer, Chiew is stomach, gold mark? No. Okay. Again, I share with you the example of sample answer. Okay, you look at the sample answer now. Okay, these are the sample answer that given by students. Okay, Q is stomach that secrete pepsins and renin. Pepsin and renin digest protein molecule. Bread does not contain protein and cannot be digested by pepsin and renin. If you look at these three sentences here, three statements here, the statement is correct. Q is stomach that secrete pepsin and renin is correct. And then what is the functions of pepsin and renin? Digest protein molecule. Okay, then the third one is the students try to answer that bread does not contain protein, so it cannot be digested by pepsin and renin. But class or students here, do it answer the question? I mean, this all the answer here do answer the question? No. The question is asking, explain why the process of digestion of bread does not occur in Q. It asks you why the bread cannot be digested in the Q. What is the answer you should give? Okay, now I'm sharing with you the correct answer. You should write like this. Number one, in Q or in stomach does not have enzyme that can digest carbohydrate in bread. That is why the digestion of bread cannot be digested in Q. You see? You answered the questions already. In stomach does not have enzyme that can digest carbohydrate in bread. You don't have to mention that in stomach have this enzyme. No, you have to explain like this. In stomach does not have enzyme that can digest carbohydrate in bread. Okay, then because this question, how many marks? I think it's more than it's 2 or 3 marks. Okay, let me check. Oh, sorry, I didn't put it. I think it's 2 marks or forgot already, 2 or 3 marks. Huh? Okay, so you see the following points that you can share, you can write. The acidic, another point. Another point, you talk about the acidic. The acidic medium in Q is not optimum pH medium for the digestion of carbohydrate in bread. So this is another point because the stomach is very acidic. And you know that the amylase enzyme that used to digest the starch, okay, the optimal pH of the amylase enzyme is around 7, the neutral, okay, 7 plus. But now in Q, which is stomach, the pH is between 1 to 2. So it is acidic. It is not the optimum pH for the amylase enzyme to react. Understand? That's why you see the amylase enzyme from mouth, because when you swallow the food, okay, when you swallow the food, actually the digestions of starch can be continued along your esophagus, and then until they reach in the stomach. So once they reach in the stomach, then the amylase reaction is stopped. Okay, then you say here, amylase enzyme from mouth cannot digest the carbohydrate in the acidic medium. That is the reason why in Q the digestions of bread cannot occur. So you explained the answer already. Okay, the last one, maybe you can answer the pepsin and renin. Pepsin and renin are both the enzyme that found in the stomach. So you can write your answer like this. Pepsin and renin in stomach cannot digest the carbohydrate in bread. Okay, you see, there are enzymes in the stomach, but this enzyme cannot digest the bread. Okay, instead of you say that pepsin and renin digest the protein. So it cannot relate to the questions that what the question is asking, why the digestions of bread cannot occur. Understand, class? I hope you can understand. Because okay, again, the negative question, there is you have to be careful. What I can advise, you have to be careful. Read the questions again, what the question want, before you answer it. Okay, so another example for you. What happened to the transport of potassium ion in the nerve cell is cyanide present. If cyanide present, okay. So first of all, you must know what is the functions of cyanide. Right, you know this cyanide is inhibitor. It's inhibitor. It can stop the cellular respirations. Once it stops the cellular respirations, then there is no energy generated. No energy, no transport of potassium ion because it is active transport. Right. So these are the idea that, I mean, the concept that you must have in your mind when you read the questions. So now you have to arrange your sentence. How do you answer in order to answer the question here? What happened to the transport of potassium ion? What happened to the transport of potassium ion? Okay, if cyanide present. So you see the first two, these are the sample answer given by students. Potassium ion is transported by active transport. Active transport require energy. So if this is the answer given by you, do you think that you are going to get marked? No, you don't. You will not get marked because you do not answer the questions. Okay, what is the proper answer? Look at this. Number one, you should say, because the question say if cyanide present, so you have to explain first. If cyanide present, what happened? So you say cyanide will inhibit the cellular respiration process in the mitochondria. Then ATP or energy is not generated by mitochondria. Therefore, active transport cannot occur without ATP because you know the transport of potassium ion is by active transport. So this is how you answer the questions. Okay, so next. Okay, another example. Okay, I think this is the last example. Okay, I give more example for this one because I found that still got a lots of students have problem with these types of questions. Okay, the pancreas of a patient was removed during a surgical procedure. Okay, explain the effects of the digestions of food. Okay, explain the effect of the digestions of food. So you see the answer given here. Okay, you see the answer given here. So the pancreas secrete lipase, amylase, and trypsin. Lipase hydrolyze lipids to fatty acids and glycerol. Amylase hydrolyze starch to maltose. Trypsin digests polypeptides to peptides. So all the answer given here is a correct statement. But do it answer the question? Because the answer is asking, I mean the question is asking, when the pancreas was removed, what are the effects? Explain the effect on the digestions of food. So first of all, you have to mention if there is no pancreas. If there is no pancreas, what happened? Okay, so again, these are the answer which will not be accepted. Wrong answer. So the correct answer should be like this. You have to say, without the pancreas, there will be no secretions. There will be no secretions of enzyme lipase, pancreatic amylase, and trypsin. Then you explain when these enzymes are not found, what happened to the digestion? So the hydrolysis of lipid is slowed down or is stopped. The hydrolysis of polypeptide is stopped or slowed down. Okay, so starch cannot be hydrolyzed completely. So this is the effect. Okay, these second, third, fourth points are talking about the effect. First is talking about when the pancreas was removed. What happened? So this should be the correct way you answer the questions. Okay, so next. This slide is just sharing with you. Okay, what are the other example of questions? Okay, in the negative form. So but this one I discussed with you already just now, the cyanide. Okay, the cyanide. And then this is one of the past year question. Okay, many students also cannot answer well for this type of questions. Okay, if the dorsal fin is damaged, what happened to the movement of fish? Okay, example next, the food change. Okay, if the food change, if the food chain is disrupted, okay, what happened to the populations? Example, if there is a hole in the septum, what happened to the functions of heart pumping? Example, okay, then the pancreas have been removed. This one I discussed just now. And then other example like what happened if NFS happen abnormally? Abnormally, what will happen if the NFS happen abnormally? Okay, and then another questions, what happened if the spindle fiber failed to form? Okay, another example of questions. What happened if the muscle or ligament or tendon is torn to the movement of the boy, of young boy, example, of an athlete? So you can see. So there are lots of questions can be asked in the form of negative questions. I say. Okay, so that is what I can share with you about the negative questions, and that's all about the section A. Okay, about section A. So now I'm going to share with you about section B. Okay, about section B. So section B, as I mentioned, section B is restricted response items. There are 2 questions given. Okay, there are 2 questions given. So your answer must according to the task given in the questions, and then normally 1 mark is given to 1 point. And this is what I have mentioned already. Do not need to copy the questions when you answer the essay questions. And then do not need to write the introductions and closure. Okay, this is not the language essay. So there is no introductions, no closure. Just straight to the point when you write essay. Okay. So what normally the question tasks that come out in the section B? Okay, generally explain. Okay, many of the questions in essay always asking the essay, the explain. Okay, the explain this, explain that, explain the process. Okay, explain why it happened. And then next is compare and contrast. Okay, I emphasize a lot already about compare and contrast. So you guys make sure that you know, okay, how to answer compare and contrast now. Okay, describe. Okay, describe also is another general, I say that very common, okay, in the essay. Describe, explain, okay, discuss. Okay, so now before I go, I share with you the example of the question task. Now, as I mentioned in section B, there are 2 questions given. Right, there are 2 questions given. So there are 2 questions given. So how you choose the questions to answer? Okay, how to choose the questions? Okay, first you read both essay. Okay, you read through both essay questions carefully first. Try to circle the keywords and so on. Then after you read through, okay, like what I say, then you underline the keywords. Then you choose. Okay, you choose the questions which, in your opinions, enable you to score the most. I mean, you understand well. You choose the questions that you understand well. Then you think that you can give more points. So before that, you make sure that you do a draft. Okay, let's say if both questions you think that you can answer. So both questions given in the section B, you think you're able to answer, but you have to choose the best one for you, right? In order you to get the highest score. So my advice here is you try to prepare a draft of the points that you can list out. Or you try to list out the points that you can answer, and then try to fulfill that the points that you draft have fulfilled the allocations of marks given. Always remember 1 point, 1 mark. Okay, so and then after that you can decide. Okay, you can decide which questions that you are going to answer. And another advice for me is I would like you to choose these questions with many small parts. Okay, like the questions given A and then A1, A2, or B and then B1, B2. So there are many small parts, because when they are given more small part, means that the marks allocated is actually is more reasonable. And means that if it is easier for you to score high mark. This is my advice for you to choose. When you answer the section B. Okay, bear in your mind. Next. Oh yeah, when you answer the essay, please do your time management properly. Don't try to spend to answer one essay question more than 30 minutes. So you have to limit your time. I know that sometimes the student have, I have a lots of idea to write the questions. I mean to answer the questions. You just write and write and write. Actually, is the point is more than the marks allocated already. There is no point, Well, once you get the full marks for that questions, but later you don't have enough time to answer the following questions. So that is a loss for you. Understand? So make sure that you have to manage your time. Not more than 30 minutes for one essay. Practice it. Okay. How to write a good essay. How to write a good essay. Okay. My advice number 1 is make sure that you write in a short sentence. Okay, write in a short sentence, straightforward to the point. Okay, and normally in that sentence you have one fact and one explanation. Okay, straight to the point to do the explanation. Okay, 1 point, 1 sentence. Remember, okay, try to practice it. 1 point, 1 sentence. Okay, avoid using too many connecting words and, okay, therefore, and so on. You are not writing, you are not writing the language essay. Okay, so no need. Next, a complete sentence. Okay, this sometimes, maybe the students lack of time, not enough time to write the answer already, so they just write the point form. For my advice, okay, please try to write a complete sentence. You try your best to write complete sentence, not in a point form. Don't try to put dash or bullet, or just put the keywords. Do you think that you are going to get marked? No. Okay, so try to write in a complete sentence. Okay, when you write your essay, do you want to divide it into paragraph or not? This one, you decide. Okay, a paragraph or not paragraph actually is not important. It's not important. Okay, so now we look at the question tasks that normally come out for the session B, like what I discussed just now. Okay, for explain, this is the common one. Okay, either ask you to explain by using principle, concept, or scientific facts. So remember, this type of questions for explanations, please do give explanations with content. With content. What I mean the content here? It must have a scientific concept inside, or a biological knowledge. Your explanation must contain this concept or scientific terms, or biological knowledge inside. Okay, next. Okay, I give you example. Okay, this is an example of essay in 2014. 2014. So you see the question here. Diagram 8.1 shows a food change in a paddy field. And then the question, okay, this is a food change. So paddy plants, producer, caterpillar, primary consumer, bird, secondary consumer, eagle, tertiary consumer. And then the trophic level. First trophic level, paddy plants, caterpillar, second trophic level, and so on. Okay, now you look at the questions. Okay, you look at the questions. Explain the importance, the keywords, importance of each organism, okay, in the food chain to maintain the ecosystem balance. So, what bear in your mind, you must explain the role that are carried out by each organism, each level. You have to mention, okay, each organism in this food chain, you have to mention what are their roles. So what are the tips for you to answer here? Okay, see the tip for you to answer here. So make sure you identify the trophic level for each organism in the food chain, and then the role. Okay, like this one, you say that it is a producer, and then why it can be producer, because it carry out a photosynthesis process and so on. Okay, and then caterpillar is the primary consumer. Okay, it is what? Okay, what is the role? You just explain the role of each each organism in the food chain. And then next, you talk about the transfer of energy, because it is stated here. Okay, it is stated here. So you talk about the transfer of energy, and then you talk about what happened, because you do mention that how does this organism do their role to maintain to maintain the ecosystem balance. So you can add on this one at the following explanations. What happened if the populations of caterpillar reduce? What happened to the paddy plants? What happened to the birds? You can add on. Okay, by using this scientific concept, okay, the prey, predator, and competitions. So these are the tips for you to answer the essay. Yeah? Okay, next. Okay, for compare and contrast questions. Can you answer in table? Yes, you can answer in a table format. But I normally I advise to my students, my students, when they want to answer the question in table format, I normally will request them to write the title of the table. Okay, just very simple title. Okay, just very simple title before you draw the table. Let's say this is the table that you are going to draw. Okay, then above the table you just write the table shows. Okay, table shows the shows what? Okay, let's say show the comparisons. Okay, if you want to say show the comparisons between animal cells and plant cells, just a very brief titles on the tops of the table, and then maybe you can put in here, this one you put similarity first. I forgot you see, I also forgot sometimes, so make sure that compare similarity, so you put similarity first, then you write down your point. Okay, you write down your point number 1, number 2, then again, and then you put the similar differences. Okay, the differences. Okay, so what are the differences between the animal cells, and between the plant cell? Okay, so so you can answer these types of questions in a table form. Okay, actually, when you answer in the table form, is more tidy, and you can see that the aspect that you are comparing is in one row. Okay, I really encourage the students, if you do answer in table form, but you have to make sure that the way that you write is correct form. Okay, next. Must be written in complete sentence. Yeah, this is what I said just now. If you want to answer the essay, the compare one in table form, try to write in a complete sentence. I know some students, they say that I already make it in a table. Why should I give the the complete sentence? Example, they put this, they draw in a three column: aspect, animal cell. I always give this very simple comparison. Animal cell and plant cell, because everyone should know this aspect. Then you write chloroplast. Okay, you write here chloroplast. The aspect that you want to compare is chloroplast. Then you write here animal cell, put a cross. Plant cell, put a tick. Do you think that you are going to get marked? No. You cannot do like this, class. Okay, students, you cannot do like this. You must read. The sentence must be written in complete sentence. Don't be so lazy. Okay, next. Okay, and this is what I emphasized just now. Make sure that you compare you compare the same aspect. Then should be at same row. Should be at same row when you answer in the table form, especially. Okay, so you can use the words various, wild, but. Okay. Now I share with you a sample answer. Okay, sample answer, a common mistake done by students. The question is asking, compare and contrast aerobic respirations and fermentation. Compare and contrast aerobic respiration and fermentation. You look at the sample answer, class, or students, please. See, the first paragraph, the students all write about aerobic respiration. Okay, aerobic respiration is a process that occurs in cytoplasm and mitochondria. It breaks down the glucose completely in the presence of oxygen. It produces water. The total energy that is generated from one glucose molecule is 2898 kilojoule or 38 ATP. So all the point here are correct about aerobic respirations. Okay, and then you see the second paragraph, all talk about the fermentation. Do you think that you're going to get marked? if this question is allocated for 10 marks, you are only given, I think, maximum 2 marks. That one is also like pity marks already, maka kasihan. Because again, you are not doing the comparison. You should write like this. Aerobic respiration is a process that occurs in cytoplasm and mitochondria, whereas fermentation is a process that occurs in cytoplasm only. If you want to write in paragraph, you write like this. Understand, class? Okay, make sure that don't do this type of mistake. Okay, you will lose a lot of mark. Next. Okay, this is one of the, this is the question that I mentioned just now when I talk about the compare and contrast. Okay, this question come out in year 2019. Year 2019. So it's asking you to compare the respiratory, the diagram. Okay, maybe there, you see the questions. The diagram show the respiratory system for organism X and Y. You know, X is grasshopper, Y is frogs. And then the diagram is shown, the trachea system and the lung system are shown here already. So look at the questions. Compare and contrast, okay? Compare and contrast the breathing mechanism. The breathing mechanism for organism X and organism Y. Students overlook these keywords, because once they see this structure here, that most of, there are students that compare the respiratory structures. They compare the respiratory structures instead of breathing mechanism. So class have to be careful. You must highlight, okay, or really underline the keywords. It does not ask you to compare the respiratory structure, even though the structure is shown here. But it asks you to compare the breathing mechanism. Breathing mechanism. What is breathing mechanism? How does the air breathe in? How does the air breathe out? The process, the breathing mechanism. Understand? So, what are the tips for you to answer these type of questions? Again, you should explain the similarity first. You should explain the differences. So, example, what are the similarity points here? You said that both breathing mechanism involve the changes of air pressure, because you are talking about breathing mechanisms. You don't try to explain that the respiratory structures. Understand? So, and then the keyword, the tips that I share with you here. You talk about the respiratory surface that involved in the breathing mechanisms. Because when you talk about the breathing mechanism, okay, the respiratory surface, right? The respiratory surface that involved. Okay, you can put this as part of your point. As part of your point. But more of the point you must emphasize on the mechanism. Mechanism means that the way inhale and exhale, the airflow pathway, okay, the gaseous exchange process. Okay, understand? Okay, so this is one of the questions that I found out students, they cannot answer well, because they overlook of these questions. Breathing mechanism. Breathing mechanism. Okay, please remember. Read the questions carefully. Okay, so next. Okay, it's almost 10 already, sorry. Okay, describe or discuss. Okay, when the question asking describe or discuss, so the answer should be quite long. Should be quite long means that because you need explanation. You need elaboration. But make sure that the sentence, okay, is short, with one point inside, one explanation, and easy to understand. Don't write the sentence in bahasa say putar belit. Then the teacher is very hard to try to understand what you had wrote. Okay, so answer given should be supported or enclosed with sufficient scientific fact. You must, I mean, one sentence that you write must contain, especially the explanations. Okay, must be supported with these scientific facts. Next, okay, I give you one example again here. You see, this is questions 2015. Okay, body mass and blood group are two types of variations. Okay, so these are talking about the variations. So table 7.1 is showing the distributions of body mass, and then table 7.2 is showing the distributions of types of blood groups. I think bear in your mind, you know already. Okay, I mean, from in your mind, you should know this is the continuous variations, right? This is the continuous variations, and this is the discontinuous variations, right? Okay, so now you look at the questions. Describe the factors. The question wants you to describe the factors that cause the types of variations. Okay, cause the types of variations. So what are the the tips of answer? Like here I share with you. Number one, you make sure that you know the types of variations already. Okay, the types of variations. Then after that, you try to explain. You try to elaborate. Okay, what are the factors? What are the factors that cause continuous variations? Okay, how many genes that involve? Okay, what are the factors? Do genetic factor only or environmental factor also involved? So these are the points that you can write. Okay, so you describe the factors that cause the types of variations. Means that what are the factors that cause continuous variations? What are the factors that cause these continuous variations? And then you can give some explanation. Okay, so next. Okay, now we look at the section C. Okay, almost done for the answering technique. Section C, which I say as standard response items. Okay, now it's only one question given, so no choice. Okay, no choice. So you have to answer. You must answer these questions in order for you to get to the answer marks for essay. So first, you read the question carefully and then underline the keywords. Please practice it. You see, I am doing my sharing here. I also circle the keywords. So you should do like this, right? Okay, and for this section C, because it's extended response, so you have to use higher thinking order skill and problem solving skills. So it means that the questions that come out in the section C will ask you to use higher level evaluations to answer, such as applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. Okay, so this is in section C. Okay, as usual, 1 marks is only given for 1 point. Okay, make sure that one sentence only have 1 point. Okay, so now what are the question tasks that might come out in this section C? Example here, number 1, give suggestions and explain the question task. Give suggestions. Next, discuss what? The pro and cons. The advantage and disadvantage. The pro and cons. And then justify. Okay, justify. I will share with you. Okay, how do you answer this type of questions? Then design and explain. Design and explain. Okay, so now the topics. Okay, this is from my personal suggestions. Okay, what are the topics that might be asked in section C? Okay, number 1, issue about diet. Okay, issue about diet. Okay, from the previous years, from past year biology, paper 2 questions. Okay, there are a lots of example. Okay, regarding the diet essay. Either asking the malnutrition or asking the eating habits or asking the balanced diet for certain groups of people. So issue about diet. Okay, number 1. And then number 2, issue about environmental sustainability. So this one is like questions about the threats to the environment, such as pollutions, okay, such as greenhouse effect, global warming, okay, that cause climatic change, and then deforestation issue, and then eutrophications, uh, and then ozone layer depletions. So these are the topics under these threats to the environment. And then guys or students here, green technology. Green technology is is in your syllabus is considered new, because the previous syllabus we do not touch green technology. So you have to know more about green technology. Okay, next. Issue on human health. Yes, this one is also quite popular. Okay, you learn biology, you want to become doctor, right? So then the human health is one of the popular questions come out. Okay, either is asking the cardiovascular disease, or asking the infectious disease, or nutritional disease. Okay, health issue about the nutritional imbalance and so on. Okay, or the health issues that because of the genetic factors. So yeah, okay, this is about the issue on human health. Next, and last one, issue on genetic technology. This is the last topic for your form 5. Okay, last topic for your form 5 also is a new topics in your syllabus. Okay, the genetic engineering, biotechnology, especially the productions of insulin and so on. Okay, the gene therapy. Okay, the gene therapy, and then what else? Okay, GMO, okay, genetically modified food, genetically modified organisms, and so on. Okay, these are the topics. The issues in the genetic technology. Okay, so please take notes. Okay, about the topics in your section C. This is from my personal opinions. Okay, so next. So we look at the question task. Give suggestions. If the question say give suggestions, okay, in section C, normally after you give a suggestions, then you have to explain why. What you have to give evidence. You have to give a scientific fact or concept to support your suggestions. Okay, there is one example questions in 2017. Okay, in that year, during that time, I think most of the students, my students feedback to me, this question is very tough, very difficult for them. You look at these questions. A developer has proposed to build a hospital and few quarters for the hospital staff in Bukit Mesra, as shown in diagram 9.3. Then the developer has listed the following steps to ensure the safety of the area. Okay, build barrier to prevent landslide, and then build a proper drainage system. This is a proposal that already done by the developer, but the proposal has been rejected by the local authority. Then the developer try to plan again. So they plan to submit a new proposal to the local authority with a few additional safety steps. So this is the simulations of the questions. So now you look at the questions. What is the task? Suggest and explain what are the additional safety steps. You see, additional safety step. It means that don't try to use the point here. You don't try to use the point here. Then the point stated here, you don't try to put inside your answer. Then you will not have mark. Because the question is asking additional. Additional. So that the developer should include in the proposal in order to convince the authority. Okay, this is for safety state. Okay, in your mind, you should plan something that can make sure that the place is safe to be stayed. So how are you going to design? How are you going to do your proposal? Okay, to suggest what are the idea that you can give, so that the hospital can be built here, and then is safe to the community surrounding there. Okay, so it's quite challenge, right? These questions, so you have to apply. You have to apply. So these are the example of the sample answer. The sample answer. You can have a look because now it's 10:05 already. So just have a look here. So you see what the suggestions are. I just put here suggestion 1, suggestion 2. So suggestion 1 here, the developer should trim and reduce the hue gradient. So why? So you have to give as explanation why you give these suggestions. So the explanation is because it can avoid accumulations of soil water during heavy and prolonged rain. This is one suggestion and explanation. So and then you continue the second suggestions. Okay, so the second suggestion here said that should plant more tree and should plant grasses and more tree, because you see there are three already. There are three in the diagram already. So in your answer, you have to emphasize plant more tree. More. Plant more. Okay, more tree. Or here my answer is put new. You can put plant more trees. So then you can explain what are the reason why you say that more tree is needed, more grasses is needed. Okay, you give the support point. Okay, the root system of the plants. Okay, can hold the soil. So then it will not easily occur this landslide. Okay, and then another as points that you can explain. The planting the tree can form water catchment. Can form water catchment area at the ground and avoids soil disintegrate easily. Okay, so this is only two suggestions I gave to I share with you here. There are more suggestions that you can answer because you see the mark allocate is 10 marks. Okay, at least you give 3 to 4 suggestions, and then each suggestion 1 or 2 explanation, and in order you to get full marks. Okay, so next, continue. Okay, discuss. Okay, discuss. Give opinions on pro and cons. Example questions. Okay, look at these questions in 2016. Diagrams 9 show allocations of a popular ecotourism in Malaysia. So the question is asking, discuss the effect. Okay, discuss the effects of the ecotourism activity to the community and environment. So your point must focus the effects of this ecotourism to the community, to the environment. You should have point for community and as well as for environment. Don't just focus on one. Okay, it must maybe 5 marks for this one and then 5 marks for this one. So understand? So you have to highlight you have to underline the keywords. Make sure that you know you can give the answer properly in a proper ratio. Then you can get full marks. Okay, discuss the effects of the ecotourism. So actually the effect here can be good, can be bad. Right, good effect or bad effect. This is the question that you give opinions on pro and cons. So you see the example, sample answer. Okay, the tips to answer, you must make sure that you have good effect on community, bad effect on community, 2 to 3 points for each. And then good effect to environment as well as a bad effect to environments. Okay, what are the points that you can share here? Okay, I give you an example. Okay, advantage of community, the pro. Okay, the advantages to the community. Okay, number 1, job availability. Job availability, number 2. Okay, because this is with advantage to the community. Then number 2, better standard of living. Okay, better standard of living. Okay, and then point number 3. Okay, this the ecotourism project. Okay, if it is in small scale, it's relatively cheap to be set up. Then it can provide volunteer worker from the community. Okay, so then the worker can learn something. So it's an advantage for the community. They can learn practical skill and expertise. Okay, so these are the points that you can explain. Okay, then point number 4, okay, awareness on about political and social issue. Okay, the advantage to a community. Okay, what are the disadvantage? What are the disadvantages? You see, the disadvantage here is talking about, okay, successful tourism relies on established infrastructures such as road, visitor center, and hotels. There will be a lot will be built. Will be developed. But the cost of these developments usually fall on the government, right? Then the government will come out of tax revenue. So this is the disadvantage to the community. Example, you can write. So you see the point here. Some of the point is not in your book. Okay, you have to apply what you had learned. You have to apply what you had learned. So this is example of questions in the section C. Make sure that you use your higher order thinking skill and then problem solving skill to apply. Okay, for your answer. Okay, so I think I don't have to go through the answer because 10 already. Okay, so next, justified. Okay, justified. So for the question justified, you give opinions whether you agree or not agree. If you agree, then you have to give explanation to support. If you do not agree, also you have to give explanation or reason to support your opinions. So the explanations must contain scientific fact or biological concept. Understand? So for this question, justified. Example here. Okay, so this is what I want to share with you also. This is the healthy plate. We said that Malaysia healthy plate. Make sure that you know what is Malaysia healthy plate, or what we say quarters, half. Okay, quarters, half plate. You have to get to know what is in the half, what is in the quarters and half. Understand? Okay, make sure you know the healthy plate. Okay, so I try to come out and as questions with the healthy plate here. An athlete is given a menu shown in the diagram above while doing the moderate training. Okay, because here's a moderate training. So this is the healthy plate that should be practiced by the athletes. So justify whether the menu provides a balanced diet for the athlete and use related biological concept to support your answer. So means that you look at the healthy plate that are provided here, then you have to justify whether here the menu provided here will provide a balanced diet to the athlete or not, whether you agree or not agree. If you do agree, then you have to use your biological concepts to support your answer. Understand? This is how you answer these types of questions. So the tips of answer, you must, if you say yes, okay, means that you agree. You agree that the balanced diet, the diets that are provided here, okay, is a healthy, is a balanced diet, is suitable for the athlete. Then you have to write down what you have to give your answer. You have to explain your answer why you say you do agree it is a balanced diet. So what are the content and what are the function? You say that there are a lot of what example. Okay, there are a lot of these grains, okay, which will provide a lot of energy for the needs of athlete. I just give you as an example. If you do not agree, okay, if you do not agree, you also have to explain why you not agree. Or because okay, just example, there are too much oil here, and then the excessive intake of oil will cause what? You see, effect excessive intake and deficiency. Not only answering that there are too much. Maybe some of it, maybe you say, there are too less of a vegetable. Why too less? Why not enough? I just give example, class. So for these types of questions, the justified. You agree, you have to give points to support. You do not agree, then you have to give points to support as well. Remember, it can be agree or not agree. So I think these are the reminder. Do not repeat the questions to get marked. Do not give answer that are similar, because sometimes it will be considered as one answer. Teachers will mark as the answer is repeated. Repeated, then put a remark there. So it's considered repeated answer. So no mark is given. Then do not give negative answer. Okay, so please read the questions carefully. Okay, next, do not write your answer in point form. Do not write your answer in point form, and avoid using ambiguous words in explanation, such as change, influence, effect. Okay, try to explain in a specific, be specific in your explanation. Okay. I think okay. We still have 50 minutes. This is also from my personal opinions that I would like to share with you. What are the favorite questions? What are the favorite questions that normally come out in paper 2? Okay, number 1 is the questions asking the characteristics of a structures. Asking the characteristic, like some of the example questions that I have shared with you this morning. Okay, asking the characteristics. So make sure that you know the characteristic of a structures. Okay, here are the example of the characteristic of a plasma membrane. You must know. Okay, normally we say the characteristic of plasma membrane is a semi-permeable. And then the characteristic of enzyme is highly specific in reactions. Okay, it can be reused. It is needed in small amounts. Okay, those are these questions answer. Okay, so the first favorite questions normally come out in as in biology paper 2 is the characteristics, and number 2 is the adaptative features. The adaptative features of a structures related to its function. Example: adaptations of alveolus, adaptations of tracheal system, gills for gaseous exchange. Okay, what are the adaptations points? Number 2, adaptations of ileums, adaptations of vilus in the absorptions of digested food. Okay, and then another point, adaptations of electrolytes in oxygen gas transport. So this is the adaptative features that related to function. There are also other questions related to adaptative, but it's like, example, what are the adaptative features that are found in the mangrove swamp plants? The adaptative features that are found in the mangrove plants. So the mangrove plants ecosystem, you know, right? So what are the adaptative features? You say that the root system, their roots, and then their leaf structures, and then the cell sac concentrations is much higher than the seawater. Okay, understand? So, and then the BB parity seedling. So these are the adaptative features for the mangrove swamp ecosystem. Okay, or maybe another adaptative features about the habitats of the plants. These are in your form 5 about the chapter 7, right? Chapter 7. Let me see again. Chapter 7. The adaptations of plants in different habitats. So you see, what are the adaptative features of hydrophyte, halophyte, and xerophyte? So regarding this, you must know, right? Okay. Number 3. This is only the answer. I think most of you should know. When the question asks you to write the adaptations of the alveolus for gaseous exchange, so what are the points? You see, numerous assays, one cell thick, large network of blood capillary, moist surface. This is the features. Then if you have to explain, then to increase the surface area for more efficient diffusions, and then one cell thick for rapid diffusions, and there is a blood capillary networking for efficient transport of respiratory gas, moist surface in order the gas to dissolve and diffuse. Okay, so this is a very popular. I mean the questions regarding the adaptative one, right? Okay, and then another example. Okay, the adaptations of the vilus to increase to increase nutrient absorptions. So these are the points that you can share. You can write, okay, the microvillus on the surface of villus increase the surface area. Okay, larger surface area, then they will have effective absorptions, right? And then the wall of villus, which is one cell thick only, so is efficient nutrient absorption can be occur, or rapid nutrient absorptions occur. Okay, and then there is blood capillary network in each villus for what? To transport the digested food. And then there is lactale system. Okay, lactale system in each villus for what? For absorptions of fat soluble substances. So these are the points that you can write. Okay, the third favorite questions are the role. Normally, question also will ask what are the role, or what are the functions, or what are the importance. You try to know what are the importance, what are the functions of organelles, such as mitochondria, chloroplast, and so on. Okay, the functions of each organelle you should know, and the functions of tissue. What are the functions of muscle tissue, nerve tissue, meristematic tissue? Example, right? So you should know. Okay, organs. What are the functions of liver? What are the functions of kidney? Right? Okay, cell divisions. What are the functions of mitotic, or what are the importance of mitosis process to the living organism? Okay, and then respiration as well. Okay, photosynthesis, lymphatic system. So all these you must know their role, their function. Okay, and hormone. You know, you learn the endocrine system. There are endocrine glands that secrete different types of hormones. So basically, you must know the hormones function. Okay, so next, yeah, I think this is the last favorite questions. Labeling the diagram. So make sure when you do label, when you either you draw a diagram, then you make sure you label. Okay, next. Okay, so should I continue? Can I continue? Because I think that this is also quite important for you guys to know. Okay, the diagrams that you should know in Form 4. The diagram that you should know in Form 4. Okay, because you see, because of this diagram and labeling, so when you do revision, so what are the diagram that basically you must know? Okay, there are the animal and plant cell, Fleet mosaic model. Okay, and then the the stats of the cells. The stats of the cells in hypertonic solutions, isotonic and hypertonic solutions. How does the cell look like? You must know. Okay, and structures. The structures of the chemical components, such as polysaccharide, polypeptides, triglycerides, nucleotides, and then lock and key hypothesis, the diagram, and then the diagram to show the formations of extracellular enzyme. Okay, cell cycle, mitosis and meiosis phases. Okay, start from the prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. You should know. Okay, and the digestive system. Okay, label and diagram the organs, and then villus, and then Malaysian's healthy plate. Okay, and next, blood vessel. Okay, the diagram for artery, vein, and blood capillary. And heart structures, lymph formations diagram, circulatory system in humans that we have double complete closed circulatory system, and then the animals we have single, or we have this double incomplete. So you must know the circulatory system. Next, lymphatic system and blood circulatory system. Next, the phagocytosis stages process. Next, okay, the diagram for this vertebra, cervical, atlas, axis, thoracic, lumbar. Okay, and then synovial joints diagram. Then you must know where is the tendon, where is the ligament, okay, where is the synovial membrane, and so on. And three types of muscle. What are the difference between the skeletal muscle, smooth muscle, and the cardiac muscle? The diagram. Okay, the three types of neuron. We have sensory neuron, we have interneuron and we have motor neuron. So what are the differences? You must know the diagram about it. And then the reflex arts, okay, and structures of the brain. Where is medulla oblongata? Where is hypothalamus? Where is pituitary glands? You must know. Then the structure of the kidney, okay, the outer layer, the cortex, medulla, pelvis, okay, you label it. And where can you find the nephron? In the kidney. And then the nephron structures, okay, and then follicle and endometrium's developments in menstrual cycle, structure of placenta, and then the spermatogenesis and oogenesis, the diagram to show the process, then the formations of twins, okay, and then antagonistic muscle in the human arms, either you bend your arm or you straighten your arm, and the antagonistic muscle in fish, okay, in birds, okay, and then insect, the flexor and extensor muscle, and then earthworm, the longitudinal muscle and the smooth muscle, okay, the diagram about this, okay. And now is in Form 5. Okay, the diagrams that you should know in Form 5. Okay, first the shoot teats and the root teats, the secondary growth process, then the cross sections of a leaf, stem, and root. Then the diagram show the difference between the monocot and udicot stand, and Simplast and Apoplast pathway diagram. Okay, Simplast and Apoplast pathway. Okay, it is new also in KSSM. Formations of pollen gland, formations of embryo set diagram, food change, food rate, okay, colonization and cessations of mangroves area. Okay, where can you find the Avicennia, Soneratia, and then how do they look like? Okay, next pyramid of numbers, okay, and then nitrogen cycle, the diagram, dichotomous key, and then the diagram about the global warming, greenhouse effect, eutrophications, and schematic diagram of Mendelian genetics. Remember, to draw the schematic diagram of Mendelian genetics, make sure that the wording, I always tell my students, the wording at the site must be in a complete and proper way. The start from the phenotype of, okay, parental phenotype, parental genotypes, gametes, and then meiosis process in the bracket, and then fertilizations, okay, then you have the genotype F1, phenotype F1. This is what I say, the schematic diagram of Mendelian genetics. Okay, next type of gene mutations. Okay, and then productions of insulin by genetic engineering techniques. This is the last topics in your Form 5, and the diagram makes sure that you know the productions of insulin. Okay, so I think it's 10:30 already. I stopped my sharing here. So that's all from me.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam Chan. I believe all of those online have enjoyed your amazing presentation. So now let's move on to the Q&A session. Okay, first question from Tan Xing Wei. Do examples count as 1 mark?
Depends on the questions. Depends on the questions. If the question do say name the example, then yes. And in the essay, if your example is the supportive, is a supportive fact, then yes. Okay, understand?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question. Can we use short forms in essays without mentioning the full name at the beginning? For example, FSH and LH.
Yeah. Okay. For this one, you have to be careful, class. I mean, what I mean, be careful, because there are certain short form which is already accepted wise, like what you say here, FSH, LH, then is accepted. But to be safe, I always ask my students, play safe, means that make sure that you do mention once. okay, especially in the essay. You mention once, like DNA. You know, DNA is also accepted once. You write DNA, okay. The full names of DNA is a deoxyribonucleic acid. But to play safe, because you do not know, sometimes you are not sure that whether that short form is already accepted wise or not. Okay, so my advice is, if you still can remember the full name, you write for the first time. Then for the following explanation, then you can use the short form. Okay.
Okay, next question. For essay questions, if I write a fact with an explanation in one sentence, and my fact is correct, but the explanation is not, will I get any marks?
Will you get any marks? Okay. For these questions, have to depends on the questions. I cannot say that you won't get mark, or I cannot say that you will get mark. No, it depends on the questions. Sometimes, yeah, I know some students, they give a correct fact, okay, but there is no explanation. Okay, if the question is asking describe, I mean for essay, describe or discuss. If you do not have explanations, then no mark. Okay, sorry, for the structure question, not the essay, sorry, for the structure questions. If the structure questions, the question task is describe or explain. If you give the fact correct without explanations, no, it will not have mark. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Next question from Clement. For definition questions, will marks be given if I give accurate meaning but use different terms from the one in the textbook?
Use different term from the one in the textbook. I don't get what you mean, the different terms from the one in the textbook. That's why this one I cannot give my answer for you. If you give accurate meaning but use different terms, I can't get it. What do you mean the different terms? Different terms mean different meaning already, right? So sorry for these questions.
Okay, thank you. Next question. Can tables be used for structured questions or is it only for essays?
Okay. For structure question, if you want to answer compare and contrast, yes, you can draw table in the line provided. But you have to, you construct your table properly lah. Okay, you construct your table properly. Yeah, it can be accepted, not only in essay. So make sure that full sentence, complete sentence, even though your answer in table form. Okay, this is my advice.
Okay, thank you. Are there any hot topics for KSSM like the photosynthesis you stated just now?
Okay. Um, I'm not saying that that is a hot topic, because I did emphasize just now about the photosynthesis, because I compare with the old syllabus and your new syllabus KSSM. That's why I emphasize, when you study, okay, when you study the photosynthesis process, make sure that you know more about this NADH, about this NADH, and then the electron transport change in the photosynthesis process. Because before this, I mean, the old syllabus, the KBSM, we never touch about this. That's why I emphasize a bit about it. And then other topics, right? Okay, yeah, since Clemens have mentioned here, there are actually new topics that I would like you guys to pay attention, okay? Such as phytoremediation. Okay, phytoremediation is also a new topic. Make sure that you know well about it, because that phytoremediation can come out like KBAC questions. KBAC questions. And then how about, besides that, green technology, I already mentioned. Okay, green technology, and your last chapters in your Form 5, the genetic technology, the productions of insulin. Okay, that one I would like you guys to pay more attention. Okay, so that's all.
Okay, next question from Augustine. For processes like aerobic respiration or fermentation, is it okay that I write the chemical or work equation of the reaction? Will any marks be given?
Okay, what you mean here, Augustine? Do you mean that you want to compare the differences? Okay, then you write the equations. Yeah, in biology, okay, the equation that you write, if you, let's say in essay, okay, you want to compare the differences. You write the equations in word or in chemical is okay. But if you write in chemical, you have to make sure that the formula that you write for the molecule should be correct. Huh? Should be correct. If it is wrong, then no mark. Okay?
Thank you. The next question. For compare and contrast questions, can we write the similarities in one paragraph and the differences in table form, or both should be written in table?
Yeah, you can. You can write the similarity in paragraph. Then after that, you construct the table for differences. You just do a label similarities. Then you write your sentence. Then next differences. Then you construct a table. Yes, that can be. Huh? No problems.
Okay, thank you. Next question. What should we do to prepare for KBAT or application questions?
This one very hard to answer. KBAT or application questions in biology normally is something that related. I mean, from my experience, normally the question is related with our daily life, or maybe if is related with our experience. Okay, how do you going to? I mean, how are you going to prepare? My advice is you try to look for more exercise. Try to look for more exercise, then you have chance to see more K-back questions. That is my advice. Okay.
Okay, let's answer the last question. Are students encouraged to write more than the question asked? Will more marks be given?
Why student things need to write more than one? What? Again? Sorry.
I think
can't.
Richie is trying to ask, are students encouraged to write more than the question asked? And will more marks be given?
Okay, Richie, as I emphasized just now, for the structured questions, it is very, how to say, because it is structural questions, you make sure that I had emphasized just now, you make sure that the answer that you write is the answer that you really confirm that is correct answer, then you write first. Make sure that you write first. Then if you want to write more, okay, you want to write more, then you put at the back. Okay, you put at the back. And you have to make sure one thing also, the more answer that you give, it should not be the wrong concept. If it's wrong concept, then we will apply the wrong cancer right. So it's quite risky. It is quite risky. And then you will not be give more marks. We will we will give the mark, the maximum mark is the mark that allocated. Even though you give 5 points, all are correct. And then the marks allocated is 3 marks. No, you only give the maximize. The maximum one is 3 marks. Okay, then the other 2 is just like extra point, no mark. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chan. With that, we have come to the end of our Strive for Excellence SPM Biology webinar this morning. Thank you once again, Madam Chan, for answering those questions and for the great presentation. It is our great honor and pleasure to have you with us the entire morning. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the webinar. Thank you for attending the webinar with us, and we hope you have learned and enjoyed this presentation. To all SPM candidates, all the best for your SPM, and may God bless you all. Bye-bye.